Hey, what's up everybody? 3D Theory here. Today is August 8th, 2024 at 10:42 a.m. and this is vlog number 28. Alright guys, you probably noticed that the printers look about the same. The production is still paused in the tiny Bambu Lab A1 3D printer farm. And for those of you who are new, this is the tiny print farm. We print out a set of plates and latches, so that's left plate, left latch, right latch, and what goes on the top there are these are the latches. This is for the thing I'm about to talk about, and I don't really talk much about where these plates and latches attach to because this channel mainly focuses on the 3D printing aspect, and the only part of the product that is 3D printed are these plates and latches. And by the way, it is 81.3 degrees Fahrenheit in the 3D printer room. And right here we have the Sith throne from Star Wars Episode 9, designed by Ralph McCreary, free on my Maker World to download and print and have fun. You could recline the back and it's for your phone. Same with the Darth Vader throne for your phone. It's from the Kenobi series, and Bo-Katan's throne for your phone. And here's a makeshift phone that you could just place on there vertically or horizontally, likewise with this one. And this has a little spot for your Apple AirPods as well. And there, horizontally, vertically. You got green from Rainbow Friends, as well as a stealth table. And we're expanding this line, and we're currently designing a stealth TV tray. So if you haven't seen those, check those vlogs out. We finished up the designs yesterday on yesterday's vlog, so be sure to check that out. And all these are available for free on my Maker World for downloading and 3D printing. And so check that out. The link is in the description. Have fun. And another link you guys will be seeing is for my Etsy shop, and I have this 3D Theory keychain printed in PETG on the Bambu Lab A1s, particularly with the AMS light combo there. And if you're interested, the link is in the description. Nothing like a fresh cup of coffee, but I should probably get that away from the filament zone. I don't want filament in my coffee. Alright guys, before I move forward here, I should probably mention the stealth table. We're going to be continuing with that in the background, as mentioned before, when there's some extra time, because it's going to be a long-term project. We're going to be jumping into the 3D modeling software. I use Maya and modeling it out, so that first prototype would be ready in 3D form a lot sooner. My goal right now is to get production going again as soon as possible. And since I'm waiting for parts to come in and we're still doing some physical testing, for those of you who are curious about the stealth TV tray, we're definitely going to be moving it along. It's just production is definitely taking priority right now, especially since it's paused. But nonetheless, this is part of the production. I'm going to take this off and show you what it is. It's a jig to hold a metal bar, as mentioned before, that had a screw hole that was 3 millimeters off, sent to us by a manufacturer, and we can't have that because it doesn't line up with the place it needs to screw into. So since there's 300 of them, and I tried doing it by hand and it works, but it's very shaky, I want to make sure I get it right every time, so I decided to come up with a jig here. And back on this 3D printer, there's another part that I printed out on it. I already had taken it out, but hey, funny enough, that's part of the bottom part of the latch that I always print out. So forever there will be a mark in the center there being imprinted on my prints. Maybe I could just get brand new print plates, brand new PEI sheets. That'd be nice. That'd be a good idea actually. A spare for each one. But that looks nice. This is printed out in PETG. Likewise, this is printed out in PETG, and these go together. So I'll show you how this works after I clean up all the supports, and it's looking really nice, by the way. So here's a close-up. Overall, it's looking great. There's some lines here, but other than that, that is super clean PETG printing right there. Bottom looks fantastic, and the top looks fantastic. This is printed out on a Creality PETG that I had gotten from Amazon. But nonetheless, I'm going to take off these tree supports here, and probably going to have to use some pliers for that, so I'm going to grab those. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and clean up these tree supports. These are not the pliers I meant to grab. Let me grab the pliers that I meant to grab. These are the pliers I meant to grab. I think I got these from Harbor Freight years and years ago. I usually am able to take the tree supports off pretty easy. Huh. There you go. Get at it with the scraper, so I don't have to start picking little bits off. There you go. Very nice. Now, if you guys are familiar with the Rotary Tool that I had built out a clamp for and 3D modeled and showed, this is definitely going on that same pole, but I only did one screw hole this time because you know how tight it holds. I do have some tree supports up in here and in there, so wonder how I'm going to take that out. Maybe I could just keep using this scraper. Well, that might have flown into the coffee. Let me check. Uh-oh. No way to know. Did it? No, it didn't. And that was a fun way of testing it out, drinking the coffee. That was a lot of coffee to just drink all of a sudden. But nonetheless, that is some delicious coffee. Alright, so let me not do that. Let me do it the smarter way and just kind of pluck them out one by one. Alright, we're almost there. I'm going to see if this will take care of this inside part. Yeah, there you go. Very nice. Alright, so we cleared out that section, and I made this section to be able to stick this through. Let's see if it'll actually go through. Because there's little remnants of material left. Let me go through the other side. There you have it. It's a little tight for sure, but all the better. There you go. So this is how this tool is made. I asked my business partner if I can show another part of the product, and they said to only show the part that I'm going to be working on. So let's stick that there. And this is how this is going to work. I just pop that in there, and I'm going to use the rotary tool to go down in, and I'm just going to pull this like that as the rotary tool is going to elongate the hole. So let's go to the rotary tool. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention is I put this piece in to keep this piece from going anywhere. So that just kind of securely locks that into place. Although I wish that this wasn't so tight. I'm wondering if maybe there's a way I should probably sand it down or something, because I see where it's getting caught up. So if I sand that down, it'll probably help with that. But I think it's going in smooth now. Just got to get it straight in there. But there you go. Yeah, so that's just how that works, and then I can just bring it back and forward as needed. It can't wobble too much, really. There's such a low level of tolerance there that it's going to allow me to just pull it so slowly and straight and get a straight, nice elongation on that hole. All right, guys, so for those of you who don't know, this is my assembly station, and I got my big filming light here to help me when I work. Instead of using it for filming, I use it to light up my workspace so I can work on stuff in a nicely lit area. And yeah, so this here is that clamp for my rotary tool I was talking about, and I have bought a specific burr here at a specific measurement, and I was waiting for those to come in, and I got them so that I can attach this piece to the bottom and start grinding away 300 steel bars so I can elongate the screw hole that the manufacturer kind of messed up on by 3 millimeters. Alright guys, so I'm going to show you a quick little tool I made to keep things streamlined. So I know that I need to kind of go up on this piece and elongate it by 3 millimeters. So what I did is I created a little space for this to sit in, like you see there, and that right there is 3 millimeters above the hole. So I created this piece so I can just grab my marker and I can just go in, mark that 3 millimeter line, and that's how I know where to stop. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and get this jig installed on this pole here that's clamped down to my table. So let me bring this up. It's so, it grips so well that I don't even need to screw down those screws, but I will. I use the stainless steel machine screw assortment from Harbor Freight, and that's what I modeled this to so that it fits there. And I just use the smallest one. All right, so get the set there. I'm gonna stick this through like that. And as you can tell, I modeled it so that it goes over this plate some, has a place for the burr to sit in as I take that steel bar back. And that will sit right on top. And this will be a nice little jig to keep it in place and straight. So I'm gonna pop this hexagonal nut in there and just get that screwed in. All right, so that ain't going nowhere. That's stuck on there pretty good. And likewise, get this right above like that. There you have it. And I haven't tried it out yet, so I'm not sure if I want to screw those. So I'm going to stick the bar through and see how it works. My measurements were slightly off. The farthest this goes is right exactly where I need, where the grinding stops. So for that reason, I'm going to have to probably take my rotary tool and cut out some of this filament so that I have space enough to let that slide. But hopefully that'll work. If not, I'll just have to reprint another one of these. And this is the part of prototyping. I did this really quick yesterday, and I wish I spent a little more time on it, but I was kind of in a rush. And when you're in a rush, you make small mistakes like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can cut out a little bit. And if that doesn't work, I'll just adjust it in the model and go from there. All right, guys, so we're about 8.4 millimeters off to where we need to be. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and add about that same amount here. I'm going to cut off about that much, maybe even a little bit more, but at least this much. And so I'm going to go with the rotary tool and cut the PLA about that much, and hopefully that'll give us the amount that we need. All right, guys, so I got a little, like, very weak little rotary tool here for jobs like these where I gotta just cut away at some PLA or PETG. So I'm gonna use this rotary tool as opposed to the big heavy duty one. Now we have that in, and luckily it has some juice, and let's get that going. Ooh, that is way too weak. Oh, and it's out of battery. I think actually I'm just going to use the heavy duty one, and I'll let this charge somewhere else, because we need to get this show on the road. Production's been paused for a few days, so let me get this going. All right, so we got the same concept here, just a bigger version. So I'm going to get that put on the tip there and onto the rotary tool. All right, guys, so this is what we're working with here, and I'm just going to go ahead and start cutting this away. I do see that the PETG is melting here because it's very fast, and hopefully I can get this done without having to reprint a new one. That would be ideal. Alright, that's melting away. That thing is fast for sure. My only concern is I don't know how I'm going to be able to cut that bottom part there, because it doesn't look like it's going to fit. That little one looked like it was going to fit perfectly. Let me see here. Alright, so we're almost there. We just got to whip it into shape. Let me see what I can work with here. I wish I got the 3D model right, so I don't have to do this, but I'm just going to give this a try, see if it works. If not, then I'll probably have to end up going into the 3D model. And since I don't have that tiny little disc that I felt like would be a perfect size for this actually, maybe I can try fitting it on to this bigger rotary tool. I just don't know if it'll work. We'll give it a try. Alright guys, it actually fit. So I'm going to be able to use this in here, but I'm going to turn this thing way down to 1. Let's see. Yeah, I think that'll be good. Let me turn it up a little bit. It's working, as you can see. I do want to chop this up so it's not just one solid block. and I think that'll help. So I'm going to switch it back to this one here, chop it up, and then we'll go in with this and cut it down from the bottom. Hopefully that does the trick. As a matter of fact, we might just be able to use the snippers here to just cut them out. Oh yeah, they're still pretty hot, so they're coming out pretty easy. And you can see that gyroid infill there. Great infill for strength in all directions. Alright, so we got quite a bit there. And I'm just going to have to do my best to clean it up and create a smooth pathway for that bar to sit in. Alright guys, I got the little one on there, so I'm going to start wearing away at this. I'm really hoping this ends up working. I really don't know if it will, but my hope is it will. Alright, so I got it pretty flat down there. I'm going to give that bar another try. Can I move it back and forth? Yep, that's looking good. And I feel really confident that this is where it needs to be for me to be able to get a nice grind on it with the rotary tool. It's not pretty, but it'll do the trick. And that's what matters here. Ooh, look at all that PETG. Alright, now that we got everything back in place, I can go ahead and test out that steel and see if the hole lines up. Alright, that lines up real well. Perfect. So, I'm going to go ahead and tighten all the screws here and get this working. And we have it marked out, so that's good to go. Okay. Oh, and I got to remember to put that piece here to hold it down. There you go. It's in there. All right. Let's turn this thing on and see how it works. It's already working at it. All right, so that's freely spinning. I'm going to throw some oil in there. Okay. Now I'm going to start working this back. And it's kind of hard to see on camera, but the rotary burr dropped down a bit. So I'm going to see if I can just get that back up. Loosen this first. Did it drop down? Yep, it did. So because of that, I got to be careful because it continually drops down since it's just a cylinder. I'm going to tighten that as tight as I possibly can, but it does come down for sure. Okay, now that we got that sitting back up, yeah, we're actually really close to the line. So I'm going to turn this on and give it another go. Alright, I think we may have a successfully elongated hole, although the fact that that keeps dropping down might be a problem, but we'll see. We'll see as time goes on. We just have to be very careful with it. I noticed that it creates a lot of friction. Alright, it did the trick there. It definitely elongated it to where we need it to be. However, I want to deburr the edges here with my deburring tool. Just a little bit of a lip. There you have it. Now I'm going to try it on that piece. Alright guys, off camera I did try that out on the piece we needed it for, and it worked out great. The holes line up perfectly. With that being said, I think this tool is going to be able to do the job. Alright guys, as you saw in there, we got that rotary burr set with the jig working out. I really wish that that rotary burr didn't vibrate so hard, but it does. And because of that, the burr drops down a little bit. And so I would have to probably readjust it, every single bar that I do. But nonetheless, it did the trick, and I'm going to be needing to do 298 more of those. So I better get to work, guys. That about wraps it up for today's vlog. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, peace, love, and joy.